What's going on, Marvelites? Today we are talking about the first two episodes of Agatha All Along. I really do believe this show has done just about everything right, and it's really two main points that I'm going to boil it down to. The first thing is that I've seen a lot of people saying that the MCU is back. And let me just say that the MCU is not back. That's because it never left. But that's just my opinion. Now, the reviews for this show are actually all over the place, but I have seen more positive reviews for this show than negative. And you know what? I'm okay with the people saying that the MCU is back, even if they didn't like the stuff in between, WandaVision or Endgame to now. I think the big thing that is really drawing people into this is that it is very reminiscent of WandaVision. It wasn't long until after WandaVision that we learned that Agatha was going to end up getting her own show. And a lot of people were like, why is this side character, especially from the comics that has always been a side character, getting her own show? No one's asked for this. One, no one's asked for any of this. And let me tell you why people ask for this or do want it. It's because Kathryn Hahn has elevated this character that was just a side character of Agatha Harkness in the comics and has elevated her to something else. Now, obviously, the MCU has adapted that character for the MCU itself based off of the comics, and I really enjoy what they did and what Kathryn Hahn did in WandaVision, and now what she's doing in these first two episodes of Agatha All Along. And I will say that I am a Marvel and MCU stan. Like, I'm there. Like, I'm putting my cards on the table and just letting you know that I'm a big fan of Marvel. I'm here for just about everything that they put out. I was excited for Agatha All Along, but WandaVision honestly wasn't my favorite show that the MCU has done since Endgame. Part of that reason, I think, is because when I first started watching WandaVision, I had no idea what the heck was going on. I also had only been into Marvel and the MCU for only a few years at that point. So I really still didn't have the background knowledge as to what was going on, and I was just kind of super lost, even within the first three episodes. So now with Agatha All Along, I have much more knowledge in Marvel and MCU and just comic background of a lot of stuff as well. So I think that's helped. I was excited to see Kathryn Hahn again. Anything that she does is just absolutely great. If you know that Kathryn Hahn is going to be in a project, regardless of what it is, you know it's not going to be garbage. She doesn't put herself in roles that are like that. Then you throw in Aubrey Plaza, she's great in just about everything. And then you add in some extra all-star cast like Patti LuPone, and so far Alian's been great, and Sashir Zamata has been great as well. Even Joe Locke has been crushing it. Between them, you can just see the chemistry. It's absolutely amazing. I think the other thing is that really is drawing you back in is this does take me back to WandaVision as being the mystery of absolutely everything that's going on. Yes, they're following the typical Marvel formula, but they're doing it in that WandaVision way. And part of the reason that it's working so well is that they have the same showrunner from WandaVision, Jock Schaefer. She's doing an absolutely wonderful job. And I think, again, that mystery is what is really drawing people in, especially in that first episode, right, where we saw Agatha in that detective mode and we didn't know necessarily what was going on and or if it was real life, but we soon learned that she is still stuck in that spell that the Scarlet Witch had put her in, and she's really just within her own home / neighborhood of Westview, and even the neighbors that were in WandaVision, which I also think is a great callback, are basically just kind of going along with everything. Just add in the fact of who Aubrey Plaza is. We know she's Rio Vidal. There's a lot of speculation as to who she is. I'll put a video up here as to who I thought she was prior to this show starting. I still think those are possibilities, but there are some other theories as to she might be Blackheart. She might also be Morgan Le Fay. Also the mystery, obviously, around Joe Locke's character, Teen. Now, we've seen that Agatha cannot hear who he is. She cannot hear his name, and she cannot hear anything really giving away his background or his identity. I'll be curious to see if he starts to give other background things to himself and the other witches cannot hear him. And there's a lot of mystery and speculation as to who this character is. I am still in the camp that Joe Locke or Teen is Billy Kaplan / Wiccan. I'm pretty much rolling on that train. I'm almost positive that it is him. There is basically the other theories that he's Nicholas Scratch, who we did get a little bit of a nod to him, that Agatha misses him, and I also believe that was his hair in that Mother Maiden Crone locket that Agatha has because she sacrificed him on the Witch's Road the first time. Or the only other option is that Nicholas Scratch somehow is utilizing the body of Billy Kaplan, and that, you know, he still is Billy, but he's also technically Nicholas Scratch right now. It's just kind of weird. But I think the other great thing that people are loving about this is, again, the callbacks to WandaVision. I already mentioned the characters that were previously in WandaVision and are now in Agatha All Along. There's a lot of Easter eggs hidden throughout, from WandaVision through Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, even the comics. So if you've been following along and you're a true Marvel fan, you got to see a lot of these. Honestly, one of my most favorite parts in the first episode was when Agatha was getting out of her spell. She's stripping down, going through all of the outfits that she wore in WandaVision. I just thought that was like such an amazing scene, such a great way to show her like escaping that spell that Scarlet Witch had put her in. It was just, man, that was like such a great idea. I think the best part in both of these episodes, honestly, between the relationship with Agatha and Teen, and then all of the witches that they ended up gathering to be on their coven to go down the road, is the cattiness between each and every person. It's so great. It's kind of funny that they all realize that they actually need each other, but at the same time they don't really want to be together. And I think just like the cattiness between all of them just goes through. And my goodness, the one-liners in this show, are absolutely amazing. Something along the lines of like the sisterhood of the traveling Kegels, or, you know, do you have a jade egg because my pelvic floor is all over the place? Something along those lines. They're so good. They're so good. And just like, I have to go back and like rewatch just to catch the one-liners. They're that good. And then in episode 2, they end up getting onto the road after they sang the ballad, which I also thought was absolutely amazing. I love that Deborah Jo Rupp, Sharon Davis / Mrs. Hart, did not know the song at all. And she was like, am I supposed to know this song? But by the end of the song, she was all about it. She was jumping up and down singing the song. And then like Tina's upstairs and the Salem 7 show up, which, by the way, if you want to know more about them and Nicholas Scratch, you can check this video out right here. By the way, like Tina's outside and he sees the Salem 7. He goes inside, he starts to like close up the house a little bit. There's no door, he puts a couch in front of it. Like, that's not gonna stop anyone. But then my man sits in a chair right next to the window. Why did he think that that was gonna be a safe place? I have no clue. Like, when he was outside and Agatha's neighbor, Norm, I think it's Norm, he saw it and he was like, are you seeing this? And he dropped his groceries and ran. Like, bro, if I was Teen, I would have not even closed anything up. I would have ran my ass straight downstairs into the basement and been like, we need to get the heck out of here right now. The fact that he even like decided to take the time to like close up the house a little bit more is beyond me. That is not what I would have been doing. But they open up the Witch's Road and they did it without a green witch. I think the way they got around that though is that Mrs. Hart / Sharon Davis, which by the way I think is great because they were like, oh, that was what Wanda called me, and like Wanda is Voldemort essentially. In Westview they're like, we don't say her name. We don't say her name. Even like the Salem 7, when they came in the house in that like smoke, you heard that whisper of like Agatha Harkness, right? It's like total like Death Eater vibes from Harry Potter as well. And I think they were able to open that door because supposedly they needed a green witch. So they took the quote unquote green thumb from Mrs. Hart / Sharon Davis. I think there's a little bit more to that though. I'm going along the line with the current theories that are out there right now that she is either Blackheart or Mephisto. She's actually someone of importance, because otherwise that door would not have opened. If by now you haven't been able to tell, I absolutely really enjoyed and loved this show. I think that it's going to be one of my top favorite Marvel shows. Is it the best thing in the world that I've ever seen? No, but it's definitely up there so far with some of my top Marvel shows. I even think it's going to be better than WandaVision. And that's not even to say that WandaVision was bad. I just think that this is going to be better than that. I don't think that it's going to have huge MCU implications per se, but I do think some stuff is going to happen, especially towards the second half of the series. I just think the best thing of this is that it really creates that mystery. It's a, you know, that weekly drop helps. It just goes back to WandaVision and creating that mystery where we're kind of wondering what's going on. Whereas say like Captain America and the Winter Soldier, not that it's a bad show, just I didn't feel like that mystery / all these theories were happening at the same time as like this is. What are your thoughts about the show? Let me know down below in the comments. If you want more Marvel content like this and to be part of a great Marvel community, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button down below. And until the next video, Excelsior.